This video is for all of you who are in the diaspora and you send people, representatives, your brothers, your realtor, or whoever to represent you in a transaction or to inspect a property for you. This video is especially for all of you, or those of you who may not be in Abuja and you are somewhere in Kaduna, somewhere in Lagos, and you are sending somebody for inspection or anything related to your property purchase. This video is especially for all of you because a lot of you are losing deals, are losing great opportunities because of the kind of people you are sending for inspection or to represent you in any form in any real estate transaction. And I need you to pay attention till the very end of this video so that you get all of the things you need to look out for before you send anybody for any kind of inspection. As someone who has served a lot of diasporans across the years, this indeed is a challenge, and I'm hoping that this video will deliver a lot of persons and stop them or prevent them from losing opportunities moving forward. My name is Raymond Ejoma, and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. If you like the real estate entrepreneur that is law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients, and I'm hoping that you too are my clients either today or someday. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the conversation. So three basic things you need to look at. I'm going to give you the questions to either ask or figure out. Questions you should have clarity to whenever or before you send anybody for inspection. The very first question is, who is this person? How mature is this person? And by mature, I'm not talking about age generally, but most of the times I have realized that when elderly people come for inspection, most of the times they usually give a go ahead for the transaction to happen because they have seen life, they've experienced life, and most of the time they themselves have missed opportunities to invest in real estate and in their lifetime, or they would have seen places that weren't developed earlier become developed. So they have tendencies of not saying the place is far because in their lifetime they've seen places that they would have called far earlier on become a developed part of the city, and they were never able to afford them. So because of where they are coming from the place of experience, they usually always say yes to transactions going on, especially, of course, after they've confirmed genuineness and all of that, right? So I'm talking about mature in the context of experience, understanding life, and all of that. So other questions you could put together or have clarity on as it relates to this point number one is, does this person have or know the value of money? Right? When somebody values money, values 10 million naira for one plot of land, the person will have an understanding as to whether it is expensive or it's not expensive, or this is worth going for, will be painful if it is an opportunity that we're missing, right? So other questions you can bring under this is, has this person started paying his own bills? This is funny, right? But I see it as a very important point. When somebody has started taking responsibility for his own life or her own life, there's a way the person thinks. The person doesn't think like, permit me with respect, a baby, right? In other words, the person thinks from a place of responsibility and seeing life from a different perspective, right? So next time you want to send someone for an inspection, make sure that this person is not just this should be somebody you should trust with major and important decisions, all right? And does this person understand real estate, the importance of real estate, how real estate works? Does this person understand it? All right. And then another question, does this person truly care and mean well for you? If the person cares about you and means well for you, the person is going to take the information he or she is going to pass to you very importantly, because whatever you're going to decide is going to be based on what that person is going to tell you, right? So whenever you want to send anybody for inspection, make sure that this person cares about you, means well for you. Some of you send people who you should never send for inspections. For example, you have an uncle who ordinarily was not your best friend when he was in Nigeria or when you were in Nigeria, right? And then this uncle is also older than you are. And then 2 years, 3 years in the US, in the UK, you're sending this uncle on an errand. This is Africa, to go and help you check a land that you want to buy, and then you send the uncle 5,000 naira for transport, right? There's a contest to it, right? So at that point, certain things could come in. These are things you should have clarity on before you send anybody for inspection. Number two, under the main point is, does this person own real estate investments? I was chatting with somebody, I mean, not chatting really. The person came for inspection, being in the diaspora, and eventually came around, being in Nigeria for a while, and then really truly wanted to invest in real estate. So we came for inspection, and part of the issues he was having is the fact that his friends actually own real estate in certain places, and because they own real estate in certain places, they did not. It would not be nice for them, for him rather, to own real estate in another part of the city or in the outskirts, right? And then I asked him a very important question: when did your friends invest in real estate? But the question now is, for you, can you afford where they now have, because they didn't buy today, right? So it's just a matter of knowing what you want and caring less about what another person thinks. I've seen people who you send for inspection come around and they tell you the place is far. When they tell you the place is far, the question now is, beyond the fact, the first question will be, does this person even own real estate investment for you to tell you, for the person to tell you not to buy here? So I remember this client actually sent in somebody from a very far distance to come and inspect the property, and this person actually lives over 40 kilometers from the city center. And then the person came around, the feedback was that the place is far, the person should not buy. And then, I mean, part of my job is to make sure that I ask questions, and sometimes the questions may not be nice. So I did ask. The question I asked was, does this person own where he lives? Does the person own investments? They own a house there? He said no, the person doesn't. The person is renting there. And my question is, do you know the distance between where he came from and where the property is? This property was less than 20 kilometers to the central businesses. Why the person that came for inspection came from over 40 kilometers for the inspection? And I'm asking, the person you sent for inspection is living over 40 kilometers away from the city center, and you are making an investment that is less than 20 kilometers to the city center, and that person is telling you that this one is far or is out of town. So who indeed is out of town, right? And the reason why this person is even having such an opinion is because the person doesn't own and doesn't know the value of owning. And even on, before you even get to the point of the person understanding the importance of owning in certain locations, right? So if somebody doesn't own real estate investment and the person is telling you not to buy for certain reasons, do make sure that you look into those reasons and be sure that the person is not making you lose good opportunities. I think that's really the point for that point number 2, right? Make sure that the person understands the value of real estate investment before the person, you decide based on what the person is telling you. And number 3 is, where does this person live? Where does this person live? Before I even talk on this point, very briefly, always make sure that when you send people for inspection, tell them to stay on the facts. Let them give you the facts and you make the decision. I remember this guy that came in for inspection, a younger brother. I mean, talking about the maturity thing, right? The younger brother came for inspection, and the younger brother told him that the place is very far. The place is out of town. The place will not develop in 10 years. And I'm like, I had to reach out to the younger brother. But the elder brother who sent him gave me a feedback, and I was asking him, really, you mean that this place is not going to develop in 10 years, or this is that? And I told him to use Google Map. That's why for most of my clients, I use Google Map to give you facts. And I tell you, I pin the location, and I tell you to look at the distance between the map, between where the property is and the city center, right? Or the next landmark, or the next best landmark, or where people are living in. I try to use something so that you look at it on the fact. It wouldn't lie. And when I did, I looked at it, the guy saw that the place was almost less than 10 kilometers to the shop, right? Less than 10 kilometers to a major location, a major landmark. And I'm like, if this place is just by this, and you can see road construction happening in real time, they're constructing. So how do you mean this place will not develop in 10 years? Eventually, the guy bought the property, and today he's happy that he did, right? So that is just to tell you that you may or you should learn to always move away from what the person feels to the fact. If you deal based on fact, it will help you not to lose important opportunities. And the last point, which is what I mentioned earlier, where does this person live? Before somebody tells you that the place is far, make sure that you figure out where this person is coming from. For example, I remember one incident that somebody came from Buhari to Apo for inspection. And Buhari to Apo, I mean, on a good day, you have to drive for almost 1 hour, 30 minutes or thereabouts. And having come from that distance to Apo, the guy said, or the lady rather said that the place is far. And I'm like, far from where exactly? Is it far from your house, all the way in Buari, or it is far from the central business district of Abuja? Right? So when people tell you that, or when your representatives tell you that the place is far, always interrogate the distance based on facts as it relates to where or how far is this from this to that and all of that. And not at other times, the road may not be at its best, right? That is why we like to have options. Either you get it in the city at a very high price, or you get it in the developing part of the city at a lower price, which is the normal thing. But that's when some of you, when you say it's far, we give you the place that is close, and then you say it's expensive, right? So you have to find a balance and look out for what you want, right? So sometimes you depend, or you play on the excuses that those people are giving to you, and then you also just add it to yours, and at the end of the day, you miss good opportunities. So in my opinion, this is not to attack anybody, right? I hope I've not been harsh in the process of communicating this, but simply put, right, before you invest in real estate, before you send anybody for inspection, make sure that you have clarity as it relates to the maturity of this person, how factual is this person. Make sure that the person is not going to judge by feelings, right? I was talking about how far again, and I needed to quickly make a point about the person driving. How long did it take you? Right? Sometimes you have to move from how long it took to drive to the estate to look at the distance in kilometers. Right? I've done a video about this. So generally, if you want to stop losing opportunity, because trust me, a lot of you are losing opportunities. I'm glad, always glad when people who buy real estate without not being around, whenever they come around, I'm always excited taking them to site, and I've never had any client who I took to site who didn't buy, or who bought rather, when he or she was not in the country. I've never had anyone that regretted buying, because we deal based on facts. If it is not on the facts of what we said, we're happy to refund you, right? That's the reality. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what I have for you today, and I'm hoping that this delivers somebody, and hoping that this would cause you not to make or lose opportunities in the future, simply because you are sending the wrong people for inspection. So before you send anybody for inspection, make sure that you apply all of these rules I just shared with you. My name again is Raymond Ijoma, and this video was brought to you by Fortune Ray Limited.